Welcome to the deep dive, where we unpack a stack of fascinating sources to pull out the insights and those aha moments, all custom tailored for you. Today, we're taking a deep dive into a really powerful personal narrative, the journey of a woman named Chelsea. Her story isn't just, a career path. It's this blend of evolving industry landscapes, some surprising choices, and a deeply practical life philosophy. We've got some incredible notes from an interview with Chelsea, charting her path from what seemed like a, well, fairly typical academic start through a significant 13-year career in the Big Four audit world, and now a strategic pivot into a fund controller role. This deep dive is all about extracting the crucial lessons from her candid reflections on education, how professional industries are changing, and what it truly means to live without regret.
Yeah, what's particularly striking about Chelsea's story, while being incredibly personal, is how it really illuminates these universal challenges. We're talking about adapting to massive industry shifts, navigating those tough career decisions, and ultimately reflecting on the profound meaning of perseverance and effort. We'll be looking not just at what happened in her career, but I think more importantly, why her experiences offer such valuable insights into the rapidly changing professional landscape we all face today.
Absolutely. So let's dig into this and uncover the nuggets of wisdom from Chelsea's unique perspective. Our deep dive begins by rewinding to Chelsea's early life and academic journey. And surprisingly, it wasn't exactly a straight line towards finance for someone who's now a fund controller. So take us back to her high school days. What was her initial academic inclination, and what surprising turn did it take early on?
Well, Chelsea shared that she initially really excelled in math and physics. Natural strength there. But here's the twist. Apparently, an incident in middle school led her to actively resist physics.
Resist physics. Wow.
Yeah. It's interesting how such an early aversion, even turning away from a natural strength, can really shape your academic choices and set a completely different course.
That's quite a departure. Okay, so with physics off the table, what did her undergraduate path look like then? And what was her experience of university life, especially during those demanding first few years?
She ended up pursuing a double degree in economics and math at Lingnan College in China. But she described economics as feeling very vague, lacking a fixed right or wrong, which apparently left her feeling kind of empty.
Empty, because it wasn't concrete.
Exactly. She felt she didn't have her own concept or say in analyzing economic situations. She preferred clear answers, it seems. The math path, on the other hand, well, that seemed to require a PhD for any real practical application, which she viewed as just too long. She wanted to get into the workforce sooner.
And the university culture itself sounded incredibly intense.
Oh, absolutely. She described the first 2 years with this atmosphere where the expectation was literally early 8 to late 8.
Studying 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. every day.
Pretty much. She even recounted some weeks having exams scheduled daily for 2 full weeks straight. It was a rigorous environment where, as she put it, if you didn't work hard, it was really hard to graduate. Seriously demanding.
Wow, okay. That sounds intense. How do you think that intensity and maybe that feeling of emptiness with economics, how did that shape her later choices, especially her desire for something more practical?
Well, after those first 2 years of, grinding it out, she had this critical realization. She didn't have a true love for her subjects, and that really propelled her to explore more career possibilities. She specifically started looking for a more practical field for graduate studies abroad. The goal was definitely to work rather than commit to, a potentially endless academic pursuit. It feels like a direct response, seeking something tangible.
That makes sense. It's also interesting how her mother played a role in her initial college choices, but Chelsea ultimately forged her own path there. What does this push and pull tell us about navigating personal preferences versus maybe external expectations in those formative years?
Yeah, your mother strongly recommended Lingnan College or another school, OFEC, which is known for its very specialized focus on international trade and economics. But Chelsea rejected schools she felt were too specialized. She actively preferred a more comprehensive university. I think this really highlights that universal tension, doesn't it, between parental influence and a young person's burgeoning self-awareness. It shows how she consciously carved out her own unique trajectory, despite that initial guidance. It underscores how figuring out what you don't want can be just as crucial as finding what you do.
That's a really powerful point. It shows how those early detours, even moving away from natural strengths, can actually set the stage for later discovery. It's a reminder that academic paths are rarely linear, right? And sometimes avoiding what you don't love leads you straight to what's practical. Now, speaking of practicality, her career truly took off in an industry known for its rigor. the Big Four. Chelsea's career really took shape in that demanding Big Four audit world. You know, those top-tier global accounting firms known for their rigor, often long hours. She spent an impressive 13 years there and then followed that with a stint in audit consulting. This is where her insights on the future of professional services get really interesting. What did she observe about the audit industry during that long tenure, and what are her current, perhaps surprising feelings about its future?
Well, she was pretty blunt. Chelsea explicitly stated, "I think this industry is a declining industry." She sees its appeal and its attractiveness as slowly receding. She specifically noted that many elites are no longer choosing this industry.
Wow. Declining.
Yeah. While she acknowledges its inevitable existence, for financial accuracy and reporting, she perceives a clear downward trend in its overall allure and, I guess, its growth potential.
That's a very direct assessment, a declining industry. Given she spent 13 years immersed in it, what specific trends or shifts did she personally witness over that decade plus that led her to that conclusion? Did she give any specific examples or experiences that really solidified this view for her?
She did. She shared a really striking personal example from her current role as a fund controller at a bank. Now, for those less familiar, a fund controller typically oversees financial operations and reporting for investment funds, right? Traditionally, that involves significant in-house teams. But as Chelsea quickly found out, she has literally no one reporting directly to her. All the functions have been outsourced.
Everything outsourced.
Seems like it, or at least the core functions she'd normally manage. She emphasized that in an environment like that, to truly advance, you really need to be in the absolute top percentage of talent. Because outsourcing can actually prevent you from fully understanding a company's internal workings, or even breaking into a company if you're stuck in external consulting. It creates a barrier.
So it's not just a general sense of decline, but it's an erosion of those traditional career ladders because of structural changes like outsourcing. That makes sense. She mentioned this feeling really hit home after her most recent job change, right?
Precisely. She described being truly surprised by how much the industry is slowly being replaced by externalization and, automation too. She found navigating her career path in this changing environment very difficult because, as she put it, both the era and the industry are changing. It's not just a small shift. It's a fundamental transformation of how work gets done and, frankly, who does it.
Yeah, that's a powerful lesson in understanding how these huge macro-level industry shifts directly impact individual careers, even in fields that seem really stable. Chelsea's experience isn't just a personal observation. It feels like a stark warning, maybe, about the future of traditional mid-level management roles and the increasing premium on that top-tier strategic talent that, automation and external vendors can't replicate. It's definitely a reminder to always be aware of the bigger picture and the forces reshaping your own profession. Beyond her professional insights, Chelsea also shared some truly profound thoughts on work-life balance and a powerful philosophy she lives by to avoid regret. Tell us about her current work situation. How does she manage to achieve that balance she was seeking?
Well, it was very intentional. Chelsea deliberately sought her current fund controller role at the bank, specifically for more time to take care of her child, clearly prioritizing that work and life balance. She describes her current work hours as not exaggerated, and the pressure is not particularly big, especially since her project is relatively new. She even mentioned she offers to help others when she finds herself with downtime, though she did add her CFO expects her project workload to grow in the future.
Okay, so this intentional pursuit of balance, it seems directly tied to her broader life philosophy. She mentioned a specific piece of advice she gives herself, her younger self even, and that she passes on to her daughter. What is that core message?
It's a powerful one. Her core message, which she first told herself apparently at 18, is this: don't do anything you'll regret. Right. And the way she applies it is, when you feel like giving up on something, you should ask yourself, will you regret this in 10 years? If the answer is yes, then don't let yourself regret it. Just work hard. Push through.
So it's really about pushing through that discomfort even when things are difficult, specifically to avoid future regret. But what about the cost of pushing through everything? I mean, does she acknowledge that sometimes pushing relentlessly can lead to burnout or maybe missing out on other opportunities? How does she square that intensity with her desire for balance?
That's a great question, and I think it speaks to the nuance, right? She believes in forcing herself to reach the crossroads, see the result, and then decide how to proceed. So the key for her isn't just mindless pushing. It's not to give up midway, simply because things are hard. It's about seeing it through to a point where you have enough information to make a real decision. She applies this to her own life, stating that as an adult she has no special regrets, though she readily acknowledges having made many mistakes. So it implies a kind of calculated push, knowing when to pivot, but only after giving something a full, honest effort. It's not about never changing course, but about not quitting prematurely.
That's a very practical and resilient approach to life then. Chelsea's story really provides a powerful framework for decision-making and perseverance. It reminds us, to consider the long-term impact of giving up too soon and to proactively shape a life with fewer regrets, not by avoiding challenges necessarily, but by confronting them fully before changing direction. What an incredible deep dive into Chelsea's journey. From navigating that early academic uncertainty, witnessing a major industry shift firsthand, to purposefully creating a life that balances professional ambition with personal priorities.
Absolutely. Her insights into the declining appeal of the audit industry and the profound impact of outsourcing that's incredibly timely and relevant for anyone considering or currently in professional services. It's a clear signal, I think, that the rules and engagement in these fields are fundamentally changing. And her personal philosophy on avoiding regret, well, that provides a tangible, actionable strategy for making tough decisions and seeing things through.
Yeah, her mantra, if you think you might regret it, don't let yourself regret it, just work hard. That really resonates, doesn't it? It's a call to push through that discomfort and see things to their conclusion to avoid that nagging feeling of what if.
Which really raises an important question for all of us, I think. For you listening, in your own life, what decision or challenge are you currently facing where asking that question, will I regret this in 10 years, could provide the clarity you need? Clarity to push forward or perhaps just maybe to reconsider your path and pivot consciously, not just reactively.
Definitely something to think about. We hope this deep dive has given you plenty to mull over. Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep making those choices you won't regret.